dentist is probably trying to destroy your health, and I wouldn't be surprised if they even know it. Every time you walk into that office, they're looking for the upsell. Braces, aligners, extractions, palate expanders. That's their BMW payment plan. And here's what makes it a scam. These procedures pretty much all collapse your structure. Your skull, your skeleton, your biomechanics, they get wrecked from this stuff. So the more you go back to them, the more problems you have and the more expensive work that you need. But you didn't need any of it. A simple mouth guard in biomechanics could have prevented this entire cascading disaster. So let's jump in and see how this works. So first, a little bit of context is I used to work at Groupon. Groupon was this deal site. I think it's still around in the US. I was there in 2011. I was the CEO of Groupon Ukraine. And we used to do a ton of dental deals, right? And the type of merchants that like Groupon and they can make profit were the ones that they kind of get you in the door for this cheap service and then they keep upselling you, right? And that's why dentists always loved being on Groupon because they give you this simple cleaning and then they'd find something wrong in your mouth and all of a sudden they're trying to sell you on braces or on pulling out a tooth or an expensive root canal. And that's just how they're wired. I met a lot of these dentists when I was trying to sell deals to them on Groupon, and you could just see how their brain works. The whole thing is, all right, get someone in the door, convince them that they have some more expensive problem, and then sell them on that, right? And it's almost worse than a used car dealership, the way these people are wired. And why do they want to upsell you on all this other stuff? Because that is the high margin stuff, right? The cleaning, the simple stuff is very low margin, right? So it would be a very low paid job if they had to rely on that. And all the stuff that is high margin is for the most part stuff that is bad for you. So why is that stuff bad for you? So it's important to remember what I'm saying with biomechanics is that you can never force the teeth, and your jaw has multiple natural positions that it needs to be supported by the cusp of the teeth on. So when you put your head down, it goes into retrusion. That needs to be supported by the cusp of the teeth. When you put your head back, it goes into retrusion, which also needs to be supported by the cusp of the teeth, right? So when you do aligners or braces or palate expanders, it messes up these jaw positions. And when that happens, I like to say that the skull deflates, or it comes collapsing in and it starts compressing on the brain and it twists the spine and it collapses the structure over time, and you have functional issues and health issues and all kinds of other issues. So when that happens, right, is that the more structure, the more you create a little bit of instability in your mouth and this thing comes collapsing in, then the more and more problems occur, right? So you're going to damage more teeth. Your teeth are going to get more misaligned as this collapse happens. And so as this happens, a cascading effect happens in which you need more and more of this crappy dental work. Right. And so dentists, I think they see this, they see that if they can just get in there and screw you up with at least one or two things, they know they're going to have you for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years coming back for more and more stuff. Right. And they may not admit that. But if you're a dentist for 10, 20 years and you see that that's how it works, right? You see that the people that you manage to upsell an extraction to, and usually they're coming back to you a lot more frequently with other problems that you can see that you probably created, right? They must feel it. They will never say it, unless they're drunk. But if you cannot see the pattern, then my view, you're just stupid. And the reality is you didn't need any of it, right? So, you might have had a small issue. And I see this all the time in our community and even on Reddit, where you had a small issue and all you needed was something like a mouth guard, or you could have put flat composite on top of the tooth and you would have had no more problem, right? So why isn't these simple biomechanics understood by dentists, that all you could do is wear a simple mouth guard and you don't need to extract the teeth? Everything's the crooked teeth are going to start to go back. You don't need the expensive palate expander. Why is it that we need to teach people that this is the simple solution? I am sure out of the thousands and tens of thousands of dentists in the world, somebody has seen this pattern. And I'm telling you, many of them probably have. But the reality is it is not profitable for them to push such a cheap solution, right? a solution that is more or less do it yourself and you don't even need a dentist. And so a dentist probably makes the conscious choice of, okay, maybe it's not 100% like ethical, but I'm not going to push the cheap solution because I need to provide for my family. And guess what? Like, I want a nicer house and I want a nicer car. And so I think a lot of dentists actually make that ethical kind of trade off that, okay, I'm going to trade off the health of my patients for my own well-being and that of my family, right? And I bet, like, if you actually spoke with dentists that are like retired and kind of being truthful, you would start to hear that story. So when you see this over and over again, right? And I constantly see new people coming into the community saying, "Oh yeah, like my dentist told me that I need to, pull these 2 teeth, and I need to get braces, and I need to do this, and it's gonna cost me $15,000." And I'm looking, I'm like, no, like you need to wear a mouth guard, and you need to like lose that dentist's phone number, because this whole thing that he's trying to do to you is going to end very badly for you and very well for him.